right, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
What's going on? Welcome in, Ermanni, and that was with Maz. As you see on the back wall, we will get to what happened last night in the world of basketball. Ricky, do me a favor, take that off for now. Let's get into the show. Good to see you, Anson Wells. I haven't seen you in a minute, buddy. Basketball is going up. A lot of other things have gone up, but first and foremost, I want to say, how are you doing, brother? Which is a question I should say.
I am fascinated in the prison break, man.
Tell me,
watching this thing. 10 guys escaped down in New Orleans. 5 have been apprehended. And the 5 who have been apprehended have an average age of 21.
Now, what about the guys that are on the lam still?
32 and on average.
So that means that experience, the older you are, the more experience you have. So let's bring in our resident experience guy, Big Time Massaway.
I would have been one of the first caught. That would have been sure.
But I don't know, man. You would have thought it through. You would have had a plan.
I might have thought it through. You know what? One of my favorite movies is The Fugitive.
Great movie.
So I've got some moves.
Shout out to Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford.
Let me ask you guys. I personally, I cheer for him to stay on the lam as long as possible. Am I bad for that?
No, story keeps going.
Depends on what they in there for.
What are they in jail for?
Yes.
Right, exactly.
I think all 10 of them were in for different charges.
Now, was it murder? Was it anything like that? I mean,
a couple of them were lifers. Yeah, a couple of them were lifers.
Yeah.
Lifer, ooh.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I mean, it is a real life movie. As I welcome in Pete. Pete, what do you think? Have you been following this New Orleans fugitive case? 10 originally, now 5.
Honestly, no.
Thanks, Pete.
You know what, Pete? That was a good setup.
Dynamite
I
drop
really thought that you were about to come with some information like you
Actually, I know one
the
of them.
other day. It was something like that, and he didn't have anything. Before we dive into the show, and it's going to be a good show, we got some sound courtesy of Pete out of Allen Park. We also want to talk about what happened last night. Truly one of the greatest playoff games I think that anybody's ever seen, and if you say it's not, you're an absolute liar. MVP was crowned, and then the Tigers. You see I'm rocking the jersey. The Tigers are still red hot. But before we do that, Memorial Weekend is coming up. And I know Memorial Weekend is very huge to the city of Detroit, and it was very huge to Anson because of a certain event called Movement to start off as Techno Fest. But, man, I just got to say, God, I appreciate you for waking us up every day. I'm glad that you have us in this space together so that we can commune and we can talk about the Tigers and other things. But, man, can you give us some sunlight?
Please.
Could you give us just a couple degrees warmer? This is the time we're supposed to start being 80, 75 on a consistent.
Feels like April.
100%. A lot of my friends, this is when they let the boat in the water. This is usually around that first weekend you get the boat in the water.
Man.
Shout out to Z-Man and a couple other boaters out there in St. Clair
East Side
Shores.
Z-Man.
Hey, you know about it. I figured
yeah.
you. But I'm just thinking back to the things that we're not able to do so far because didn't the Yankees come in town as a month ago and nobody was the wiser, the worser?
That's a fact.
Didn't even get a chance to see the Yankees. One of the greatest shows, Aaron Judge, didn't get a chance to see him. Movement, high of 61 this week. High of 61 this weekend.
The girls got to actually wear clothes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they
That's not
won't.
fair.
Yeah, you're right.
That's not fair.
I know a lot of people
You're right.
out there in the garden. I know they're in the yard. What is this weather making you miss right now, Anson, or is kind of delaying for you?
My final morel mushroom hunt because the rain is great, but you need the sun after it to bring them up. So that's all that I'm waiting for. But honestly, what you just mentioned, the 61 degrees downtown Detroit for Tech Fest,
man.
Movement,
Talk about it.
the oldest electronic music
In the
festival in
land.
the world, aside from the draft, when Detroit is at its very, very best. Listen, put on a hoodie and get your ass down there this weekend. You got to go and enjoy yourself.
Man, without shit, Maz, man, talk about it, man. This weather. I know you a guy likes to get outside. I know you love the Tigers games and other things. You have a pool that you get set up for this time of year, man. Go ahead, man.
You know, I've broken my back and my wallet to get this pool set up and get it ready. And who the hell's going to go in it?
Nobody.
It's in the 60s, for crying out loud, my pool. It's in the 60s. Even with the sun out once in a while, man, that sucks. But you know what? It is good baseball weather. As long as you put a jacket on, go on down. Next weekend, the following weekend, you got the Grand Prix here in Detroit. So we've got some great events coming up here. Tigers are home for 7 games starting tonight, by the way.
Yeah, definitely Grand Prix. If you haven't been, you got to go down. It's a great time. They do a lot of events around it, man. Detroit really puts on, they really show out. Really proud. And Pete, you talk about 1982, man. That's the first time that you went.
Yeah.
Talk about what that experience was compared to now.
Well, because it was brand new. Everything was brand new. The Formula One industry wanted to make their way to America, and Detroit, I mean, they already had the Long Beach Grand Prix, which is now, I forgot the new name of it now over there in California, but Detroit stepped in, Dallas stepped in, and it was a great thing. They actually, and it was just like how Comerica Park came along with the Tigers. You know, they had to make adjustments to the course as they went on, but it used to be a 20-turn course in 1982. Then it became an 18-turn course after that in 83, 84, 85, and so on and so forth. And it was a great time to be here in Detroit when the Grand Prix was just beginning.
That Grand Prix, getting a chance to go to the Grand Prix. My favorite thing is, it's everybody's favorite thing. It's the start. It is definitely the start, and you hear that noise, and they go around, they take that first lap. You know, that makes the experience. Ricky, what about you, man? Like, I'm about this time usually. I've already gone downtown, man. I've got my first barbecue in. You know, I've driven around Belle Isle listening to the Isley Brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I may have a little something in the brown bag, maybe not.
Yeah. So
This is that time.
I've been fortunate enough to get to come golfing in, but you just said it. I was talking about the other day, barbecues. I haven't hit any good barbecues yet, and I'm waiting for the barbecues. And movement, since I had the baby, movement was out of the question. So I'm kind of upset about that, but still, usually it's hot and sweaty for movement. It's weird that it's going to be 58 degrees or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, 100%. But look, at the end of the day, it will be a good time. If you've never been, go down there. I urge you. It's fun. If you don't want to get into the madness that is movement, shout out to Cassie in the studio. If you want to get into the madness that is movement, then you can come down earlier. You can get there 2, 3, hang out for a little while, because it does get a little crazy, a little more fun.
But not just the festival. All of Detroit is wide open. All the bars and restaurants.
The only time they allow it to stay open all night.
Everything's going on downtown. So even if you don't have a ticket to the festival, just go and witness our city at its best.
All right, look, check this out. Speaking at its best, Tigers won last night, but we're gonna put a pin in that. We will get to the Tigers that we love. We appreciate what you've done. Shout out to them. 15 of their last 20 they now won. We will get to them. But that game last night between Maz's New York Knickerbockers and the Indianapolis Pacers was one for the record books. One for the record books. Final 138-135 Pacers in overtime. I don't even know where to start with this game. So I will start with this, and then I'll drop it to Maz because this is Knickerbockers. I told you about these Pacers. I came on here a week ago, maybe a week and a half, asked Pete, because I know Pete always remembers. And I told you may not like Tyrese Halliburton. You may not like what he does off the court. You may not like the type of player he is. He's wiry. It's a weird shot. He's weird fast. He's quick in spots. I don't trust the – I told you that boy was him. I told you that he was for real. You don't have to like everybody that's a great player. I told you he was real last night here in the squad. They did their thing. Maz, I'll just start with you, man. What did you see in that game, and whose fault?
I don't think it was anyone's fault.
Okay.
I mean, you're up 17 in the fourth. You're up 14 with 2.5 to go. And the kid got hot. 8 out of 9 from three-point range. 8 out of 9. That's unbelievable. Aaron Nesmith, 8 of 9 from 3. And Halliburton throws it up. Could have been a 3. It was a 2. Freaking thing almost hit the top of the backboard. It was a clutch shot. It was a lucky shot. And it happens. You can't stop. Sometimes you just can't stop a runaway train. They were a runaway train. There's no way the Knicks should have let them in that game. But
it's hard to stop a runaway train when you're busy celebrating. When you're busy giving up a standing ovation.
Speak on it, Anson. Speak on it, Anson.
Listen.
Wow.
The Indiana Never-Haves took on the New York Peasants, and it was an absolute display of inexperience and peasantry. You got that clip, you got that photo of Reggie Miller and Tyrese Halliburton?
Let me find that for you there, buddy.
Is this deja vu for the New York Peasants? Oh, there's one choke, and then there's another choke right over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the standing ovation. My guy, Maz's guy, Clyde Frazier, and Brunson, they're busy celebrating. Kind of like the Peasants were busy celebrating in the streets after a round 2 victory. Let's talk about Timothy Chalamet, Take a timeout so you can challenge a play that was clearly out on Brunson. Oh my goodness.
It wasn't clear.
The absolute peasant reactions and peasant behavior of the New York fan base was on ultimate display last night. They embarrassed themselves and exposed themselves for the absolute peasants that they are and their fan base is. Sorry, Maz, but you told me to shut up today, so I'm burying you and your garbage ass squad.
That's okay.
977-1, up by 14 with 2.5 left to go. This team was up 9 with 52 seconds left to go. Knicks Muse, all the other Knicks Twitter people, you guys are a joke and you got exposed because you were busy in the street bagging people in visiting jerseys with bags of trash because you're peasants. Wake up, get some rest because you got a 9 to 5. You need to pay for that 480 square foot box. What is that? $2,400 a month? Peasants.
So I'm not as mad as Anson, but I do agree with him on a lot of points. Last night with 52 seconds left, the Knicks were up 9. Do you know in the history of the NBA that the record for a team being up 9 with 52 seconds left, or let's just say a minute, is in terms of a team comeback is 0 and 1,414.
Damn.
Every other team that has ever been in that situation, 0 and 1,414 was the record until last night.
The worst playoff loss of all time.
I think so, and I think the problem is when you're up 9 minutes at this point, Jalen Brunson and Tibbs, this is when you have to stop the run. Tibbs, this is when it's your job to coach. This is when you have to put on the hat. This is when people have said time and time again, Tibbs chokes in the big moments. That has been the moniker of Tom Thibodeau for the entirety of his career. Choking in the big moment. Last night, the moment couldn't have been bigger. They let all of the New York glamour, the glory, it got to them. And I think they froze in the moment. I think he as a coach froze. Jalen Brunson put on a phenomenal show. There's nothing that you can say about him. There's nothing that you can say about Cat. They put on a show, except they were just hoping to survive that game last night. They were hoping to survive.
Playing not to lose.
They were hoping to survive. Oh, we're up so much. Even up 9 with a minute, we'll figure it out. Meanwhile, you continue to let Neesmith getting on the side of Indianapolis Pacers. For me, Maz, Anson, I'm bringing it to you first. The Pacers. Halliburton, we talked about this, their team is similarly constructed like the Boston Celtics. But the big difference is Indianapolis Pacers have one guy, and that guy is Tyrese Halliburton. Last night, this is what I observed. In a moment where they were trying to come back, you know what Jason Tatum typically does in that moment is he'll forget that Neesmith is hot.
No doubt.
And he'll try to insert some 3 balls here. He'll try to insert getting to the rack and mess up the flow of the game. Tyrese Halliburton got off last night, pause, but at the end of the day, it was within the flow of the game. Neymar got Neesmith involved. Halliburton got Neesmith involved. Siakam got Neesmith involved. Everybody saw who the hot hand was, and then when they would double him, who would get a little easy bucket at the layup? Neymar, guy that you forgot about. Why was Miles Turner so open on the dunk in the end?
Why was former Nick Obi Toppin gifted a free dunk off an inbound play?
A tip dunk. Like, they stood the test of time. You have to believe in his team. And I think now when you look back at Coach Atkinson, talking about from the Cleveland Cavaliers, remember when he talked about this team?
Played 48 minutes.
Maz, you hit the nail on the head. This is a team that's going to play 48 minutes. I don't want to hear about, the Knicks are old, or they're tired, or they're injured, and they're beat up. They've been that way, and they beat the Pistons. They were that way, and they beat the Celtics. So now, you guys are in trouble.
They're done. Its series is over.
I agree.
It could be 4, maybe 5 at most. The series is over. This is like Kirk Gibson beating the A's in the '88 World Series. The pinch hit home run against Eckersley. They broke the A's back. The A's were better than them that year. They broke their back. It's over. They play tomorrow night. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow night, but the series is going 4 or 5.
Why can't they win at home, Matt? Why is this team struggling so bad at home?
I don't know, man. I just think. Go ahead.
Can you allow me on this one? Please. Can you indulge me on this one? A lot of times, and this sounds stupid, it's tougher to win at home when you have one of those homes that's a spot. It's a destination spot.
Iconic.
It's full of distraction. It's full of everything else. I'm not making excuses. It is. New York is that place. This team has never been in this space. Even when they were in the place last year, it wasn't the welcoming that they're getting now. It wasn't the star power around the ring that it is now. It wasn't the story that it is now. This story is magnified. That Garden, I felt that energy through the TV. Hell, when he hit the shot, I knocked over my water. I was watching the game by myself. Like they have never been in a scene like that. You got all the stars there, all the star power. Those lights get bright at Madison Square Garden. A lot of times it's easier when you go on the road. You don't have to worry about that. You can dial that out. You're not looking at a arena 30,000 full of your number. Sometimes you can block that out.
Well, there's no way in hell that they come back from that. There's no way.
That's impossible.
At first, it was going to be a hard series to begin with, but to blow a 17-point lead, 14 with 2 minutes to go, 9 with a half a minute, with 50 seconds to go, it's over. You cannot come back from that. No way in hell.
Quick thought. I want to, in the words of Ryan Ermanni, I want to elongate this topic, this segment, if you will. When you think of great comebacks in the playoffs, the great comebacks, what pops in your mind? Because this last night, in my estimation, is one of the greatest of all time. What are the ones that pop into your head? Maz, I'll start with you.
Well, 2004 Red Sox down 3-0 to the Yankees.
Okay.
Come back and steal Game 4, steal Game 5, and then the Yankees' back was broke. Game 6, Game 7 was a disaster. That's the one that comes up. But one-gamers, I think this one takes the cake. In basketball, this one takes the cake. No, I haven't seen a loss like that in my life.
It doesn't have to.
And I've been watching basketball, since I was 8 years old, 1970.
Doesn't have to be basketball, just sports in general. I'll give you an example. First one that pops in my mind, come on, man. You know what time it is. 1993. The Houston Oilers are playing against the Buffalo Bills.
Nice.
The greatest NFL comeback of all time. Frank Wright
Amazing.
jumps in for Jim Kelly. 31 points. They come back. You know my heart's broke. Warm Moon. I mean, that's one that comes to mind. But
good call.
This was
good one.
What about Tom Brady? Super Bowl.
That was the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
I remember literally texting my boy. He lived in Atlanta. I was like, I'm coming down there. I know the party's going to be crazy. And then like 2 hours later, I had to text him back like, nah, I'm good, actually. I think I'm going to stay here.
Put the Lions on there. 24. Wait. 24. What was the score at San Francisco?
Yeah, that was going to be mine.
24-3.
On the wrong side of it, but
on.
absolutely San Francisco beating the Lions in the NFC Championship. But I mean, you look. Go ahead.
I'm going to just ask you a question. Just watching this game, where did the Knicks go wrong? Like,
everywhere.
Without the anger, without the aggression. Where did the Knicks go wrong? OG Anunoby is the player I thought didn't do enough. Other than that, where did they go wrong?
They didn't do anything wrong on the basketball court. They got full of themselves. They were peasants because they don't have the experience. They haven't been there. How long has it been, Bass? 25 years?
2000, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been 25 years since they've been in this situation. I love your points about how big MSG has become. I'd like to say that they've priced out their real fans, but even those guys in the first row, it was wild in there.
Nuts.
But the fact that their entire fan base takes over Manhattan to celebrate and the boroughs to celebrate.
Come on, man. That's every city, bro.
It's just like the Vikings took over and listen.
It's every city, man.
I get that you're defending
you can't blame the fans. You can blame the people you
I'm
fight with.
I'm blaming all of New York.
You can blame your little peasant bull crap.
He's mad.
Just because there's two Twitter followers that go at you. That's not the whole freaking thing. You know how big New York is? Open your eyes, man.
I do. I opened my eyes.
You couldn't heckle
I opened my eyes.
Stick to heckling here.
I opened my eyes to Broadway full of Knicks fans after a second round championship.
No kidding.
I watched in that game the entire crowd celebrate.
Yes.
Listen, the Knicks were hitting shots. They were getting to the basket. The fouls weren't out of control. There wasn't a crazy discrepancy. They took the foot off the pedal because they're peasants who haven't tasted meat in 25 years. In fact, 52 years since they've won anything of importance. They didn't know how to act while they were there. They let the foot off. I mean, listen, they didn't do anything wrong except for think they won.
No.
But they didn't.
Listen, hold on. Before you even say anything.
Go ahead, man.
Did you guys see Walt Frazier?
I did.
Did you see how does he look like a young man to you? Does he?
No.
Okay. That's the last time they won.
Exactly.
The last time they won, he was an all-pro, first-team, all-defensive guard.
And he's
Could
not a
have
peasant.
been MVP.
He's not a peasant. He's a pimp.
He is the man. Look at me. I was 11.
Boy.
So if you want to know why the fans are excited to win a playoff series, I was 11. I'm 63.
You look
That's
good, though,
why.
man.
Sorry that the fans are excited. Sorry. They're starving.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting, Maz. I think I have to agree with you that I think this series might be over, and here's why.
Oh, it's over.
Here's why in totality. Obviously, they come back. But here's where it got interesting yesterday. Here's where it could have cruxed out. This is where the Knicks could have taken over again, Maz. After Tyrese Halliburton does the choke, he does the old to Reggie Miller. Shout out, by the way, that was dope. It's great when you watch the young era have the relationship with the old era. There's a lot of respect. Then you start to hear about them conversations.
That's all the Pacers have, really, is that choke sign.
Listen, Maz, what I was talking about.
The truth.
Indiana never has.
That's fine. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Reggie Miller and Tyrese Halliburton,
Absolutely.
their relationship. That's dope. Much like whoever Cade chooses to build with here with the Detroit Pistons. But with that being said, the choke, the game's over. He points. Oh, it's going great. It's good. Oh, wait.
Foot was on the line.
Oh, wait. Shades of KD. Foot was on the line. This was the chance for the Knicks to make them forget about what happened in the comeback.
Sir. They scored the first 4 in overtime.
And that's where I'm going.
And then went away.
But no, that's where I'm going to the result. That's why I'm going to the Pacers team. Talk about how good they really are. They had a chance. You would have forgot about the foot on the line. You would have forgot about the comeback. You came out hot in the overtime. But you didn't trust yourself. The Pacers never wavered. The Pacers are a confident team, and they play that way, and you saw that. In the overtime, I said, oh, shoot. Maz is right. Here's 4 buckets. I said, I don't know how you overcome those 4 buckets and the emotion of thinking you won the game, because last time I checked, the Nets won in overtime. I lost in overtime, too. But they stayed the course. Halliburton found the flow of the game again, and then you start seeing the bigs get involved, man. They're a good team.
And overtimes in basketball are normally decided in those first 2 minutes, win or lose. You get so much momentum where you lose it. The fact that they overcame that, it's a testament to how strong-willed the Indiana Never Haves are. My favorite part was after he hit that shot, Halliburton, and you just hear Reggie Miller laughing on the broadcast. Yeah. Just laughing. Now, he thought it was a 3, and obviously it came back, but that was, you guys know I can't stand Tyrese Halliburton.
Right.
But I have told you guys, I told you on Monday when I was in with Stick, I'm a Tyrese Halliburton fan for this series. In fact, I've got an Aaron Nesmith rookie card in today's prize package that we're giving out. I also got the Blake Griffin variation prism card here. Of course, the Braylon Edwards signed rookie. Got an old school Bill Laimbeer, some Pokemon, even some WNBA. I might just give that one to Maz.
Where'd you get that Kerry Carpenter from?
And then a Kerry Carpenter from our guy MVP. So remember, guys, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about the New York Peasants versus the Indiana Never Haves. We will read your super chats, and then of course we got that prize wheel at the end of the show. One of you guys is going to be taking that prize pack home.
You can't ask for a better game, though.
It was amazing.
Impossible.
You can't ask for a better playoffs, and to be honest, last night is the issue that I have with one playoff game, one playoff series. Speaking of MVP, let's do that first, because the guy that is ahead in this series tonight, 100%, Shai Gilgeous, Alex Alexander wins MVP. He takes 71 of 29 votes. The cool thing about this is Cade Cunningham, as Anson pointed out, got more votes than Anthony Edwards this year. He was 7th in MVP. So rightfully so, this is by the numbers. Led the Thunder to the NBA. He had 68 wins. He's 32.7 a game, 72 straight games of 20+. That's absolutely nuts. You know, the thing I love about that is it's the durability. This is an era where we complain so much about guys playing. You want to see the stars. Well, this star plays. When you go see the OKC Thunder, you will see SGA. And he was the right choice. He should have won. Jokic is the best player in the league. We know that. It's not up for debate. He's the guy. But if you want to give an MVP based off what the rules have been for the MVP for a very long time, 2 years in a row, number 1 seed, this team is primed, poised, and ready to play against these T-Wolves. But going back to what I said about the fouls, you see last night they let them play. Is it the Eastern Conference that they're allowing to play physical? Meanwhile, in the Western Conference, we can still play the finesse Euro ball with SGA?
That's why I like the East.
Same. because I didn't like what I saw in Game 1. I'm not blaming that because the Wolves got smacked, but I don't like the discrepancy from calling the West a little more finesse to the physicality that is the East, Anson.
Hey, yeah. I mean, honestly, I still have an issue with the SGA MVP. Why are they waiting? Because there's no defined day that they announced this.
Got you.
The fact that they waited until the end of the 7th game of the series between the two guys leading the MVP charge is ridiculous. Now, personally, I do think that if you can't get out of the first round, you're not an MVP. So I think that the NBA needs to define a date, and they need to define what this prize is for. Are you winning it for the regular season, or is it how far you get your team? And at the end of it, as much as I love I love J-Dub. I'm a Thunder fan. The things that you talked about.
Hold on. Before you get to the game, because I know you're ready to break the game down. Can I add a caveat to that might make sense for the MVP? Unless it's like this year, where we clearly know that Game 7 decided who you were going to hand that trophy to. Unless it's a situation like that, we have a date.
Well, see, and the thing is, if they're
I'm cool with if it's on that.
And if they're going to say, listen, we're going to allow the playoffs to somewhat impact the MVP vote, I'm okay with that. And in that case, if you have a matchup between the two guys like we just watched, then sure, decide it afterwards. Because if anything, those two guys know Game 7 might get me some hardware.
All right, Maz, tonight.
You would still take a choice of Jokic or SGA. Who do you want on your team?
Jokic.
Yes.
All day long.
It's Jokic.
All day long.
So that's all I got. That's all I got to say. I'm glad the kid won it. Jokic could give a damn. Really, he could give a damn. He just wants to go home to his goats.
The war got real.
Yeah.
The war got real sketchy, kind of like after the Jordan era when they were trying to find out who to give it to. They gave it to Shaq a couple times, and then politics became the thing. Once you go to the era of the big three, the big four, so the MVP will never be what the MVP is.
Right, it's
again.
watered down.
100%. It is watered down, but
both of them deserved it though.
I agree. Maybe you do a split. Maybe that's the answer. But SGA deserves his first one with this game. Anson, you don't believe that the Wolves have enough firepower on offense. Last you saw that, Anthony Edwards himself actually didn't have a good game. Tweaked his ankle early, finished with 19 on the night. That's not going to get it done against this juggernaut that is the depth of the OKC Thunder.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the Wolves have made their hay in the fact that they are so good defensively that they can take another team out of what they do offensively, and that kind of permeates their entire game and their entire presence in a series. The difference is OKC is the best defensive team in the NBA. So if the ball stops falling for one team, it's probably going to stop for both. They are an avalanche, though. Fair. The moment they are triggered, they can outscore you by 20, 30 points in any given quarter, in any given game. The fact that their offense can stall, but their defense can keep them in it and create transition opportunities, they are I don't think there's anybody in the East that can stop them, and I think that Ant-Man is the last roadblock. And again, if Dante DiVincenzo is not hitting threes, they just don't have another guy. Now, Julius Randle, who was fantastic through the first 2 rounds, look at all these guys that they have to check him. These 6'7" guys that are long and athletic.
He still found 28 the other night, too.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But he had to work a lot harder, and he was on fire shooting from 26 feet.
This is true.
That's where he got most of those points. Things are going to be tough for Randle. Obviously, they've made things very tough on Ant-Man, and they're going to have to get some really big games from Rudy and somebody else. I just don't see where it's coming from.
Man, is this Western Conference doing anything for you?
No. It never
Finals
does.
isn't?
It usually doesn't. Unless Steph's in it, I don't care. That's just the way I am. I'm an East guy all the way. Hey, I'm rooting for whoever wins Knicks Pacers. Obviously Knicks. But I'm rooting for the Pacers as well. They've never won. They were an ABA team. I like seeing my ABA teams do well. The Spurs, of course, are the Kings. The Nuggets got one. The Nets are still waiting. And the Pacers are still waiting. Those are the 4 teams that came over in '76. I love that league. I got my ABA ball at home signed by the doctor.
The doc.
To me, I think they should be playing with the ABA ball, if you be perfectly honest with you. So I kind of have a heart. My heart goes with those ABA squads.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, man, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but look, do you guys want to talk about the Detroit Tigers that are on fire, or Do you want to talk about the Detroit Lions? Because there is sound. I'll let you get in the chat with Maz
OTAs,
Anson.
man.
We'll figure it out. You know where we're going. You know where we're going. I don't even know why I set it up like that. But let me tell you about this White Claw Tigers tour. Look, man, come be a part of the action. We're going to pop this thing off tomorrow. The weather may be bad outside, but guess what? It's the best thing about having a bar. You can be inside. May 23rd, that is tomorrow. McShane's, come on down. We're partying. We're watching the game. You know who's in town this weekend. It is the Cleveland Guardians. You know what we did to them last year in the playoffs. June 13th, it's Nemo's. The 19th, it's Second Best. And then we're going to finish up this tour on the 29th at Old Miami. East Town Distributors and Ben Johnson Law. They want to bring you something special brought to you by Woodward Sports and White Claw Tigers Tour.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media: X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Hey, gang, looking to upgrade your relaxation game? Well, check out the Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills. Not too far from us here. Top brands for massage chairs like Infinity and Osaki. The largest massage chair showroom right here in the Midwest, right up the street. Woodward and Long Lake Road. Experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan. He is the wellness doc and the creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Book a visit right now. It is massagechairhouse.com or scan that QR code. You can do both. Check it out. It is Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
And while we have a break in the action, New York Giants fans, here's your Uncle Tom Mazaway for War Bonds. Uncle Sam needs you to do your part to help defeat Nazi Germany. That's right, help the Stars and Stripes as we go against the sinister Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. Buy War Bonds today.
Happy Memorial Day weekend.
And Maz, we appreciate you for the World War II update.
My pleasure. Thanks, Neil.
You know football is going to win, so let's sit here and talk about these Detroit Lions. Welcome back in. We appreciate you. Anson Wells in today. Talik Williams, #1 draft pick of the Detroit Lions this year, 2025. Ohio State D tackle. Got his bread. I'm interested in how they do it now, man. Back when I played, like, guys, it was all the way up until August, and when guys are going to get their bread, when guys are going to sign into camp and get a part of that camp. But now they do it early. They get it out of the way. Talik Williams signed. Only one yet to sign now is Tate Ratledge. Once he signed, we'll be done. A lot of questions about who this Talik Williams is. Everybody wants to know what type of player he is. You know, he played at Ohio State. Heard some good things about him during the draft, not necessarily during the season. Well, here's a guy in here, Detroit, that has some things to say about him.
This year, just your initial feelings about Tyleek, and then, I mean, he's really physically gifted. I mean, what is the ceiling for a kid like that?
You know, sky's the limit. He's a good kid, and, you know, he's pretty smart. He sits beside me in meetings, so it's cool to just hear his answers. He doesn't talk very loud, but he knows the answers to the question. So me being a vet, sitting beside him, it's always fun just watching the rookies kind of be like, you know, I don't want to get it wrong. I'm like, who cares? Like, you know, we're in a room, so it's been fun just sitting there watching him talk about it. But he really, really smart. He picks up the playbook really well. Can't wait to get to see him moving around and just see what's going on. I watched him a little bit at Ohio State. And was just really impressed with his game.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that a veteran like DJ Reader is impressed with his game in the sense that he's answering questions. It means he's in that playbook. He's dialing in, so that's good to hear because we don't know who he is. You know, we're excited. We're excited with the optimism, but at the same time, we understand what that pick could have been, what people were thinking in terms of a rush in. They pick up Talik Williams. Maz, where are you now? You've had a couple weeks to settle from the draft. You see what people are saying about Talik Williams, your new draft pick, pick 6'3", 330. How are you feeling about Talik?
I'm feeling really, really good.
Okay.
Because this guy is going to wind up taking over for DJ Reader. Whether it's this year or next, they're not going to keep DJ Reader with that money. This kid is supposed to take over for him. And from what I've seen and from what I've heard from guys like Brian Baldinger and others, this kid might have been a steal at that particular time. A lot of players say, a lot of teams say, hey, he's a second-round talent. But you know what? They didn't think Jahmyr Gibbs was going to be the talent that he is as well. And the more I read about that and hear about that, did you know the Jets, Joe Douglas, was set to take Jahmyr Gibbs, and the Lions moved around and they got him before them. The Jets thought they had him dead to rights. They wanted to give Aaron Rodgers all these weapons, and it didn't work out. So I'm thinking the same thing on Talik Williams. This is Brad Holmes' bread and butter. It's the draft. Now it's time to have these kids, all these players that he's drafted, to come together and have their best season ever and get us to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, it's funny. They ended up drafting Breece Hall that year.
Yep.
So there's a lot of truth into what you said. Another dynamic back, but as of the first 3 years in the league, we know he's not Jahmyr Gibbs, even though he did have
Nobody is.
100% he has an injury. But, you know, Maz, he brings up a good point. You know, Anson, how many times are we going to look at the Brad Holmes pick and, you know, have our own distaste? Oh, why did you draft Jack Campbell? He's not the linebacker that you need. Well, now you look at him. He's a guy that might be in line to be a perennial All-Pro for years to come. Oh, why'd you go up and get Jahmyr Gibbs? You just did that last year and it didn't work out with Jamon. Jahmyr Gibbs seems to be working out. Here's another player that people may have wanted another thing and may have trying to figure out why is it this guy? Why is it that we keep challenging Brad Holmes as it relates to the first round pick? Because at least that spot, we know he's gotten right 100%.
Well, I love you, Braylon, but don't include me in we, because I'm on camera at the Jahmyr Gibbs pick when 150 plus Lions fans were upset, and me and Stick are celebrating. We have believed in these guys' draft picks for years now. I'll tell you why they took Talik. They don't focus on ceiling. They focus on production. This is a guy who had more sacks from the interior of the defensive line as a freshman than Shamar Stewart had in his entire career.
Number is 5, by the way.
4.5. Or at 5, he had 4.5 for Shamar over his entire career. He had twice as many tackles for loss in his career in college than Shamar Stewart did. This is a high-character guy, a high-motor guy, a guy who led on his team, a guy who produced at a power school in a power conference, and he has all the tools that people sleep on because he showed it instead of giving you the glimpse of what might be. Dan and Brad want guys that are going to come and play and assimilate into this culture, and this guy is perfectly that.
Well said. Well said. I definitely agree. Yeah. And then one of the big things, too, when they drafted him, I was excited talking about Larry Johnson Sr., and that was my big thing in terms of knowing where he came from, knowing what he could be. But you're right, and more and more you start to think about how they're drafting guys, how they're placing guys. They're drafting guys that fit the culture. They're drafting guys that fit the beat of their drums, and their drums, they are beating mightily. Excuse me. I would be remiss to say that there's other news from another one of Brad Holmes' draft picks, a certain guy that went number 2 overall. A guy named by the name of Aiden Hudson. I think he had something to say about being cleared.
What's the next, I guess, hurdle for you in terms of getting back to doing everything?
I'm fully cleared. Yeah, it's great. I got cleared a while back, and now I'm just I'm rolling with the boys now, and it feels like I'm back to being myself again. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to. I think this is the most excited I've been for OTAs in my life. This is the biggest hiatus I've had without playing ball. So I'm pumped.
Yes, sir.
Woo-hoo! Yes.
Speaking as somebody that's come back from ACL surgery, ACL injury, to what he's speaking about in terms of now I'm back with the boys. Like, people think that you guys are always together. When you're a hurt player, your schedule is very different than that of the other players. Your schedule is you're in the training room early in the morning. Other guys aren't there. When guys are in a meeting, you're now on the practice field. You're now working out. You're now doing rehab. Sometimes you overlap rehab with those guys. Sometimes you may break some bread together. But when those guys are at meetings, you're not in meetings. There's nothing for you to necessarily meet about. Your focus is get back on that field, the rehab process. So your hours are different. When you watch film, you may watch film at night. You may get packages to take home and watch that film, those DVDs, or just log on to whatever huddle system they're using. To be back with the fold, like, that's when your spirit, that's when your soul feels back good. Like, yeah, I'm back with the boys, man. I can work out when they work out. Like, when they go to meetings, I'm going to meetings. When we go to the gym, we're going to the gym. When we do some D-line work and prep, we're doing that. So that energy, that smile that you got, it's a familiar place that I've been before, man. So definitely happy for him. Proud of the process that he's put in.
Does he still have to do his own thing too?
Yeah, 100%. Like, that never stops. Like now that you've rehab back, prehab becomes your best friend.
Right.
Prehab, especially when you do ligaments and cartilage, prehab is how you stay from getting injured. The little 30 minutes before people get into the training room, the extra 40 minutes after. So that's how you stay kept. But him saying go ahead, Anson.
No, I was waiting for you to finish. But I look at all of these things I've ever seen my whole life, and it's these former players. As much as they loved playing, they always say the thing they miss most was the locker room and the camaraderie with the team.
Yeah, it is.
So not only are you being taken out of that, but the thing that you have focused on, your craft, being one of that 0.0001% that can make a professional league, when you take all of that away, and then you take out that camaraderie and that chemistry and energy of being around your boys, especially when they're making a run, it has to just do so much to the psyche in a negative way. When you can finally get back and actually feel like you're back and trusting your body, it must mean the world to guys like that.
I'm gonna say something, Maz. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I think Aiden gets back to form a lot sooner than we think.
I'm glad you're saying that.
I think Aiden gets back to form in terms of where he was at, in terms of the trajectory, a lot sooner. He's already ready to go now. It's May. They'll do contact sports starting in June. They'll do June contact. They'll do July contact. There'll be some contact in August. He'll be back fit. Adding that excitement, adding Talik Williams on that line, new energy. New energy is always good. When you start to see the nuances, the working, maybe Davenport is back. Maybe Davenport is in a space that they've never seen. But just seeing that, I don't know, he's going to be hungrier. You know what type of guy he is. It's my fault that you guys didn't make it this far. If I would have been playing, guys like that, like it's not the right thing, but for them, it's what motivates them. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. Aiden could get back to form a lot sooner. And I think this D-line, maybe there's some trust in Brad-ish, you know.
I hope you're right, Bray. And I can't help myself when I look at Aiden Hutchinson. I'm always going to have that wobbly leg in my head, that rag doll leg. Yeah. That made me sick to my stomach when he was rushing Dak Prescott that day. They were destroying the Cowboys. I was like running up and down saying, wow, we really have a Super Bowl team. And then it all came crashing down when he went down. And yeah, they finished strong, and they still won that game, and they won 15 games. But it's not the same when you know your best player can't be with the team. And I'm so happy for him that he is back. And like Dr. Pierce has been telling us for a year now, that guys like this, they just motivate themselves. They will themselves back to health. And we'll have Doc on a little later, and he'll probably tell you again, he might be stronger than ever when this is all said and done.
Yeah, no, he definitely will, but now he's come back to a different defensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator that he knew, Aaron Glenn, is no longer here. It's Kelvin Shepherd. How will Kelvin Shepherd be able to fit Aiden Hutchinson into new packages? Here's Aiden Hutchinson on Kelvin Shepherd.
What has your relationship building been like with Shep?
It's great. It's great. I feel like I was in his room a couple years ago for a little bit. We have a great relationship, and he's going to be tough on the guys. He's going to expect a lot, and he's always done that. Whenever I go in that room for a meeting, you got to be on your P's and Q's. So it's very much attention to detail. You're going to. He's going to expect a lot, and that's just. It's great as a player. It's great for the defense. But it's going to take a different level of preparation. Not saying it was anything different than AG, but I'm saying the way he attacks things, it is very much, you got to know everything that's going on, and I think that's what I love about him, and I think that's going to have our defense very, very, very prepared this year.
Trying to figure out how to ask this question. What's it going to look like under Kelvin Shepherd? Kelvin Shepherd, obviously, is a mentee underneath AG. AG voted the best coordinator in football by the players last year. Finished runner-up, I want to say, the year before that, so you know what type of guy he is. But this isn't AG. This is a new guy. How can actually Kelvin be better than Aaron Glenn?
It's a great question, and I'm going to answer it with both coordinators.
Please do.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and tell you guys that the Detroit Lions will be a better team because of their new coordinators.
That Anson Cook.
And the reason I say that is because this isn't 2023. We aren't lucky to be here anymore. We are one of the power franchises in the NFL. And I saw a clip, I'm not sure if I sent it to you, but Ben Johnson talking about how he would prefer big plays.
Man, I tell you what, does it become an explosive play ever? Have you ever seen a tush push become an explosive play?
Does it become a first down or a touchdown?
Yeah, I like explosive play. I like big plays. So I'm not a big tush push guy myself.
And how many times, Lions fans, was it 3rd and 1 and we had an empty backfield? Because Ben Johnson prefers big plays. We are mauling at the point of attack, both defensive line and offensive line. And this isn't a team, again, that's lucky to be there, that's desperate to stay in games. This is a team that should be dictating through 17 games of this regular season. I think that you can be a little more stoic and a little more blitz happy with this team that we bring in. But I think that offensively, you don't have to have these trick plays. You don't have J-Mo throwing the ball on an end around. You run it down their throats.
That's correct.
And you dictate. And now this is a power franchise, again, in the NFL. You don't have to take the chances. And I think both of these coordinators are going to do a better job of understanding what we have and just shoving it down the opponent's throat.
That was a crazy sequence of words that you used.
Yeah, I was wondering if I was giving them
crazy
time. I was giving them time.
But no, but I absolutely agree with the sentiment of your statement, Maz. What were we talking about 2 years ago? Chicago. This is a December game, and they were going to Chicago. I said, I just hope Ben doesn't go up there and get cute.
Yep.
I said, I hope they don't go. And what happened? He went up there and got cute, and they lost. Like, so that cuteness works for you when you a lot of reverse.
He was a hell of a coordinator.
I'm not hating at all. Yeah. No 100%. Like, I'm on the side that he's going to do well in Chicago. I'm not like everyone else. I think he's going to do well. But there is a level of sometimes you got to put your finger in the ground and go for it. Sometimes you got to just knuckle up against the guys in front of you. And I think there'll be a little bit more of that.
I hope so. I think it's great. And I like what you said, Anson. I mean, well said. But I do believe that we will, just because Ben Johnson was a run and gun type guy, doesn't mean that we weren't going to still run the ball. We still had 2,000-yard rushers, 1,000 plus out of the backfield, catching the football as well. It's not like all we did was do trick plays, but you always had to think. The other team always had to think, what are they going to do here? And I think that's going to change a little bit. Now they're going to know we're going to be a little bit more in your face. And I don't know if that'll work in the long run.
I got a little interesting insider info today. My cousin is very good friends through the marketing and advertising world with somebody that started a company called Fantasy Points. And they were hired by the Chicago Bears. In fact, they're employed by every team in the NFC North except for the Detroit Lions, which they hope inevitably they will get that contract as well. And they were hired to do the analytics for the coaching hire for the Bears this offseason. And they brought Ben Johnson to the table, and the Bears said they were not interested. The Bears then went on and continued their own search on their own for about another month, at which point they came back and asked for the analytics that they had of Ben Johnson a second time, broke them down, and decided to go with him. This is not the unanimous offensive coordinator for head coach that everyone in Detroit and the NFL nation thinks that Chicago wanted. Okay, this is who they ended up with. And I'm going to tell you right now, I really think the marriage between Caleb Catfish Williams and Osama Ben Johnson is not the right one. You got a guy that wants big plays with a guy that is afraid to check down and holds the ball too long. I think it's a recipe for absolute disaster. And Lions fans, I'm going to make you a promise right now. The win-loss record may not be as good, but this Lions team will be better and go further in the playoffs. In fact, they will be in the Super Bowl, I believe.
Well, you know somebody that definitely wants to be a better version of himself last year. He wants to be a better player. And now that there's an award called Protector of the Year, I'm pretty sure that Big Panay is going to want to put his hat in there. Name in the hat. There you go. My apologies.
I mean, at the end of the day, we control our own destiny, and that's how we operate around here. I mean, all that extra stuff, that's up to you guys. But we just put our head down and go to work, and we just build and build upon what we want and our goals, working towards our goals. So, I mean, whatever's being said out there, that's up to y'all. But it's time to go to work.
Can't wait to see Big Panay this year. I feel like he had a really good year last year, but you start seeing towards the end of the season, he did give up a couple sacks here or there. You look at the totality.
He was hurt.
That's where I was going. He was another one of those players, and you know him. He's not going to say anything. He's not going to bring you into the world. He's not going to let you know. He's just going to go out there and play. He will be healthy this year. Maz, what are you looking at Big Panay this year, man?
Well, him and his wife had a baby, right? He got paid. He
got paid.
He's got more muscle than he's ever had before. He's getting stronger.
Possible.
And we'll talk about one of the best players under the age of 25 a little bit later. The Lions had 5 of them, by the way.
Yes, sir.
In Pro Football Focuses. We'll get to that a little bit later. But sky's the limit for this guy. And he is the favorite for that offensive lineman award coming up. And we'll chat about that a little bit later. But this guy, like I said, he is top 3 at his position in the NFL. That's pretty damn good to have on your team.
Tell you what, guys, Penei Sewell being ready to go, and what he said I loved in that clip, build. And that is one of the greatest things you want to hear from an offensive lineman, because he knows what his job is. His job is to build a camaraderie with his line mates, with his quarterback, and with his coaches. And Penei Sewell is a leader on that field. And I also want to go back to a point about what Anson said about the coordinators, because you're absolutely right, because you said it so freaking good. But the great thing about Johnny Morton and Kelvin Shepherd is this. They have weapons that a lot of new coordinators coming into jobs don't. And these weapons are like on autopilot. And the great thing, I'm not saying that he's not going to coach them, but I love that Morton and Shepard have these weapons which provide the optimism to their game plans and how they can plan their attack schemes game by game. And it's so wonderful. What we're gonna see, I think, from Kelvin Shepherd and Johnny Morton and players like Penei Sewell is improvement. And when I'm saying, like, not that they did anything bad last season, not that they did anything bad as assistant coordinators, but you're going to see them build, and this will be an exciting season coming up for the Lions, Bray.
And you guys mentioned the fact that Panay had a couple of sacks in the second half of the season, that he was dealing with injury. But they lost cohesion in that offensive line due to injuries.
Yeah.
They had a guy, Christian Mahogany, a rookie, playing meaningful snaps on that offensive line. Now you bring in 2 other guys from the draft. I don't think that they're going to have that issue with cohesion. I don't think that they're going to have guys that they're not used to standing next to. Panay Sewell and that offensive line, I think they have a chance to be the best offensive line in the NFL this season.
I want to see Giovanni Manu this year.
Yes,
I do.
sir.
I want to see what he's got. This is a guy that I love that they moved up to get. Yeah, he was a project Canadian football player. He's huge. What is he? 6'7", 350. Yeah. He don't look like an offensive lineman. He looks like a tight end. I can't wait to see what this guy's got to offer, and of course, the new draft picks that are coming in here. Like they said, Brad Holmes, he don't go for the big hit. He goes for the long haul. He is building this team for the long haul.
Yeah, speaking of Brad Holmes this season and the talent he drafted, they will be on full display for the very first time July 31st, Maz, at the Hall of Fame game against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, that's why this kind of OTA is different. They're one of the first teams to get to practice. So are the Chargers, obviously, because they'll be playing the Chargers.
Yeah,
but
right.
You see the schedule right there.
There it is.
They got only one home game so far. Only one home game in the preseason. The Hall of Fame game is on the road in Canton, July 31st. They host the Falcons August 8th. That's a Friday night at 7. Then they're at the Dolphins August 16th at 1. Guess what? That week, they are practicing with the Dolphins. So they will have joint practices with the Dolphins.
There'll be fights in that practice.
And that's from Doc Macaroon. Good job with Doc. And then at the Texans, August 23rd, there's a good chance that they will have an open practice with them as well. That is not locked in yet. But there you go. That's your Lions preseason schedule. Then they get the week before the season off, which I think is going to help them.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be interesting. Just to quickly look at it, this is why I never really like preseason in terms of moving teams around. They got to go out to L.A.
Right.
All the way
Not
to
L.A., Canton.
Oh, okay, well, Canton for them. Then they have to go to Miami.
Canton home, then Miami.
Florida, Texas.
Yep.
Florida and Texas. Like that.
Preseason.
Stuff gets annoying, but I like the joint practices working with them. That's going to be really good test for Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw, DJ Reed going against Tyreek Hill. You can say what you want to him off the field. When he gets on that field, he locks in. So being able to go against him, the speed of Waddle as well, I like that. Houston Texans, you know what that secondary blame. Stingley will be very good for Amon-Ra St. Brown as well as J-Mo. So I do like the practice situations up there.
Should be fun, man.
It's gonna be good.
Don't forget, Dan Campbell used to coach the Dolphins, at least for a little bit.
I like the fact that we're starting things off against Jim Harbaugh's Chargers, the way that he's built everything on the front four and on the offensive line. Like that, what we focused on is what he focuses on. I'd love to see those guys.
Who was that kid they took out of Carolina, the running back?
O'Marion?
Starter.
No, not O'Marion.
Oh,
it is O'Marion?
Yeah.
He is a stud. Don't be surprised if he ends up better than Genti.
He's going to lead the rookies in touchdowns, I think.
I do want to mention something very quick on what you mentioned about how he drafts players.
We'll go to commercial.
It's okay.
No, I say you go
okay. Is the Lovett kid that they got in the 7th round? This is maybe the greatest gunner in college history.
On punt team?
Yes. And so when you look at that, you look at a guy that we got last year in Vaki who is basically replaced Germ. That's what they do is they go and get guys that have production that they know that are going to make this team. I do want to hit some super chats real quick before the break, if I may. They're real quick here. Michael Weary got in a couple times. Nixon for sorry, Maz. I think he meant to write Pacers.
He meant Pacers.
If the Knicks had a bench, then they would have a shot. Shout out to Anson, Bray, Maz, and Pete. This is from Michael DeVries, who also bought 5 memberships for the chat. First thing I do is when I get off work, is tune into E&E. Besides seeing my dogs, it's the best part of my day. I feel you on the dogs. He also did apologize for not shouting out Ricky. Sorry, bud. And then Michael Wary one more time. We need the over-under for Hutch Sacks. Easy money. Listen, guys. Smash that chat button. We have an awesome setup of cards for you guys today for that that prize package. So get those super chats in.
One thing you said that's dope, and you're absolutely right, is one of the biggest things in the team in terms of winning is knowing your role. And a lot of times having role, like destination or definity, like it pisses people off. Oh, I'm a role player. No. Everybody's a role player. A superstar is a role. The sixth man is a role. But getting to the Lions, the reason why he's drafting that way makes so much sense. You're drafting guys that you're bringing in that production at that role that know what that is. You're not drafting a wide receiver in the third round and asking him to play gunner in the NFL. Now he's confused.
Exactly.
100%. Matt, you know what? You've been cooking with a little grease, man. So look, we'll give you a quick commercial break, talk to you about Planet Fitness, and when we come back, it may or may not be a top 10, but this two, they aren't in the top 10. They are in the top 1. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential with over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations, man. It's the gym for you. I worked out there today. The gym was great. The gym was clean. The people were indeed friendly. Look, man, these are small things, but they do matter. When I go to the gym, I want it to be clean. I want people to be nice. I want not to be judged. You can do this at Planet Fitness. No one's judging you. You come down as a trainer with every membership. They got aqua hydro massage chairs. If you have the black carpet, we can get you one of those, man. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media: X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Now, I know you're tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch. The Tigers are hotter than ever, so get you some new Tigers gear. Shop.woodwardsports.com is the only website you need to go ever to get any Detroit sports merch. Tigers, Lions, Red Wings, it doesn't matter. We got you. Hoodies, tees, hats, all guaranteed to turn heads. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Make sure you go there. It's a new era in sports wearables. New designs are all up on the website right now. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Make sure you go now.
Guys, let's be honest. We love simple stuff like beating the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. We like uncomplicated. Like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, sign in, and before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Off his Knicks, man. You know what I'm saying? You're hurting his feelings, brother.
I'm just talking about simple stuff. The kind of stuff that guys like.
Don't sweat it, Ray.
You know what? Side note. Speaking of things that guys like, Mission Impossible: The Reckoning, Part 2, last one. It's coming out. Tom Cruise's last movie. Anybody interested in going to see it? Just ask.
Have you seen his face lately?
What
Isn't he like 75 though?
Why can't you just leave well enough? All these Hollywood people.
There it is.
Leave
there
it alone.
It is. It's Hollywood.
Grow old with some. Just grow old nicely.
But you know what they're doing? They're running from AIDS. They're running from AIDS. That's what they all do.
Terrible.
The women, they lift everything up, and I mean everything.
Yes.
The men, they get calf implants.
Let it be, man.
Hollywood is an interesting place. Isn't it?
I'm not saying look like this schlub, but I mean really.
You look good, Mass.
Thank you, buddy.
You're
Age
beautiful.
gracefully. Age gracefully.
Just moisturize.
But the flip side of that coin, Maz, is you and Tom Cruise the same age.
Ain't that something?
No, I just thought I'd throw it out there. Look, man, I was excited to see it. It's been a hell of a.
Is he 63?
He's 9. Tom's probably like.
I think he's like
60.
55,
he's definitely
56.
Shoot.
He's
Yeah,
up there. He's
Y'all
like
was in
his
high school at the same
sir.
time.
Yeah.
How old is Tom Cruise? This is a quick fix.
58.
62. I told you.
62? Yeah.
62. Hey, man.
He's a junior in your senior year.
Maybe you need to lift something up.
Hey, man. I wish I could just go in and just get a whole new body.
No.
Nah, you don't need
Hey,
to.
look, if there was a genie and they had to give you a wish, this is like Anson wants answers.
Ooh.
Maz wants answers. If they offered me anything in the world, I would just want to be 6'1", maybe
That's
6
it?
foot.
That's
6
it?
foot. 6 foot,
Nah.
170 pounds.
No, if you're gonna do it, be 6 foot,
foot,
bro. 6 foot
75.
sucks.
I always.
Forever. That's it. 6 foot, 175 pounds, no matter what the hell I eat. I'd rather have that than be a millionaire. I swear to you.
Interesting.
I'd rather have that
That's interesting.
than be a millionaire. I'd love to walk in a store like Cicchini's
Shout
go
out to
in
Chiquinis.
and pick anything else
you a
I
suit.
want to wear. I want to wear it because I won best dressed in high school.
I believe it. No, I
You would
believe
never
it.
know it.
We gotta show some pictures, man. You
would
gotta show some
never
pictures.
I'm with Ricky, Maz. I believe you, though.
Yeah,
I
no,
believe you.
I do.
600 people in that class. 600 in the graduating
And you
class.
were the
See you
top.
out here, Maz.
Most friendly, best
True.
smile,
Check.
best dress.
Check. So
Look
you
at
just
that.
you just swept the class, the mock
was
legends.
killing them.
I did damn good, and I never thought I was gonna be. I didn't think anyone even knew who the hell I was.
No, they
All
knew.
of a sudden, I get
Yeah.
those awards. I'm like, I thought it was like a joke, and it wasn't a joke.
They was peeping the bell bottoms the whole time.
New York Giants
Hey.
Maz said he was the man. I trust Maz. Maz also.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to be Slim.
I love you,
I
Tom.
would love to be slim. You know what I always go for? Like if those situations arise, I would just want to be 100% health always.
Right.
Oh, healthy
Yeah, I'll
is
take
I
that.
could figure everything.
Health is wealth.
I could figure everything else out.
Health is
Give me
wealth.
100% health always.
Yeah.
I figure the money's thing out. I'll figure out.
Health
You can
is
figure
wealth.
anything out
Yeah,
if you
that's
got
real.
your health. As Ryan says, he said when you don't have health, he said that's the only thing you want. When
Yep.
you have health, you want a million other things.
You bet.
So
True that.
shout out to Ryan and Mike, man. We hope you guys are having fun in the big.
He is.
Apple.
He's on his way to Radio City as we
He's a
speak.
lucky son of a gun.
Shout out to the chat. But listen, there's a real stack of cards here, guys. The Aaron Nesmith rookie. You got an old school Bill
You got a
Lambier.
Stafford up there?
There's some really nice stuff over here. Stafford, a Blake Griffin variation, of course, the Braylon Edwards rookie card that he's going to sign for you guys. I'm a little we're a little underwhelmed on the super chat here. So if you get a big super chat in, you're going to dominate the wheel. But we'd also love to see you guys smash that like button for us.
You guys like top 10?
Always.
Oh,
You guys enjoy top 10?
As long as you don't have the Knicks in it.
Well, you know what, man? That's not gonna happen.
Oh,
That's not gonna happen. In light of what happened last night at MSG, it gets the wheels turning. What are the biggest moments in recent history? I didn't go too far back. In recent history at MSG, I know we got some kids in the
Did
chat.
you get
so
Ding Dong, the witch is dead in there?
We'll have some fun in
Patrick
there.
Ewing missed the layup against him?
I did not. But these are the top 10 moments in recent history at MSG. So Just you can throw them
Might
up
as
there.
well start with the most recent.
Well, you know what? There it is. This is top 10. Last night, this was a memory from 1994, the season 95 Eastern Conference. Reggie Miller, 9 points or 8 points in 9 seconds. Just amazing. Just amazing. Maz, you gotta walk us through. You have to walk us through. I remember watching because it just happened to you again.
I don't want to do it again. I don't. I mean, him against Spike Lee. It's guys like Anson. You know what? The Pacers are Anson. They have 2 moments.
That makes so much sense.
They have 2 moments, both against me, the Knicks. Both. That's it. They have 2 moments. Reggie Miller and Halliburton last night. Those are their 2 moments. Other than that, they're just who they are. What are they called? The never ones? Okay.
Never was.
That's Anson. Congratulations. The Indiana Ansons.
Get him, man.
It's funny.
Get him, man.
It's funny how upset peasants get.
All right, here we go.
There's nothing peasant about us.
Sound like a peasant right now, my friend.
I love the back and forth. I'm gonna get you guys some boxing gloves. We'll bring some boxing gloves in.
Oh my God.
We can get it going right here.
As long as you don't let him do any of that karate stuff on me.
You better hope you get out of the first. So you can finish in the first
I
round,
don't
my
have
friend.
a shot against you. I already know it.
All right, throw me another one up there.
Oh, we're really gonna hurt Maz with this one, Maz.
Oh, you got another one for him?
Because it's his favorite
There's
player.
so many.
But
There's so many, Bray.
this won't hurt Maz because this is his guy. This was a couple years ago. Steph Curry, he breaks the all-time 3 record, and where did he do it? He did it at MSG. 2,974th career 3-pointer against the Knicks, surpassing Ray
Hats
Allen.
off, Steph.
100%. Shout out to Steph. And
Hats off, Steph.
Steph is in that category that Snoop used to be in the sense that no one can say anything negative about Steph.
Yeah.
Like, Steph's like the guy.
He's perfect.
Like, he is. He's super cool. He's just... And he's a competitor, too. You'll get a lot of nice guys, like guys that are nice, but you like, but they don't have that killer.
He does his thing.
But
he has his ball busted.
What I'm saying is, but that's what I'm saying. Yes, he does that. He'll get at you a little bit, man. Shout out to Steph.
In 15 years, in 20 years, are we going to be looking back at this era as the Steph Curry era or the LeBron James era? And when you look at how much press and pub that LeBron got, but his record in the finals, his legacy as he leaves versus what we look at with Steph Curry. Steph Curry not only won just as much, but he impacted the NBA in a far deeper, long-reaching terms than I would say at least. I'm just curious how we're going to look back at this era.
I got an easy answer for you, and it's going to be LeBron James' answer. Even though I don't want it to be, it will be the LBJ era. Look, it was the dynasty era, but when you look at it, he went to the finals every year for 10 years. He lost a lot of those finals, but he still went to the finals every year for 10 years. And the teams that he was playing against, he played against Tim Duncan. People argue Tim Duncan's better than Kobe. He played against KD. He played against Steph in one of those games. Steph then added KD. Somebody that we call the greatest assassin in terms of a hired hitman of all time.
He never should have left the Warriors.
100%. So when you look at it through those lenses, it's like...
So the 80s were the Bird and Magic era.
100%.
So it could be the Curry-LeBron era, right?
I'd go with that.
Yeah.
I'd go with that.
Because it is. They played every year. Every year. Like, see, now the NBA is in this space where you're excited for parity. So, like, I'm excited for it to change. You got great teams, whoever plays. If it's the Knicks this year, cool. If it's the Pacers this year, cool. If it's SGA, it's cool. If it's the Wolves. Like, in that 8-year run, you only were waiting to see Curry versus Bron. Mm-hmm. You're waiting to see Curry. And to be honest, you're waiting to see Curry beat Bron. Most people. So, I think you're right. It is Curry and Bron.
So, Bird and Magic era. Jordan era. Kobe era. Curry-LeBron era.
And the 70s really were a mishmash.
Kobe,
a lot of teams won in the 70s. Remember the Warriors
you
against
could probably,
the Bullets,
Seattle,
against the
Seattle.
I'd say that's the Kareem era, kind of.
Celtics thrown in there. The Rockets. Throw everybody in there. I loved the 1970s for NBA basketball.
With the ABA coming in and it just being wide open.
Unfortunately, the Kobe era is a cult era because the Kobe era, if you're a true fan of the NBA, if you're a true fan of basketball, then Kobe, that was the era for you. But if you're just a fan of the NBA and you're just watching games, then it wasn't Kobe era. It was Shaq. It was Tim Duncan.
Yep.
It was all that. So if you know the game, it was Kobe's era. To your point, I appreciate it. What else we got on this Pete list?
Well,
it's some more good ones in there. Speaking of Kobe,
there
61. February 2nd, birthday month of great people. Shout out to Tom Mazaway as well.
Back at you, buddy.
He tied Bernard King's MSG record for the most points, 61, which was broken by Carmelo Anthony. Shout out to my guy. His offensive masterclass. I mean, we know what Kobe was. 61 points. He did it in the biggest spots, the biggest games. Maz, what was your how did you like Kobe?
Oh, I loved him.
Okay.
He was, how do you not love him? He was fantastic to watch. I loved his dad, Jelly Bean. I liked the whole thing, his whole thing. Italy, Philadelphia, L.A. Drafted by who? The Hornets?
The Hornets.
And then I don't know how he got to L.A.
Divac, draft day trade.
I know.
Jerry West.
I know. Was that Vlade
That's
Divac?
right.
Yep.
Yeah. Jerry West.
That was, it's amazing that he wound up in the Forum blue and gold uniforms. And to play with Shaq was a fun time. And to beat him in 04 was a highlight of one of my highlights in watching the NBA was that 04 Piston team beating that Laker team.
That's some great bar trivia that you can win $20 on. What Hall of Famer was Kobe Bryant traded for? Kobe was never traded.
Yeah.
But it's good to ask that question because I feel like Kobe's one of those enigmas because how people feel about him. Whether
He's the Black Mamba.
Whether you felt that he was some lucky kid that got to play with Shaq, or whether you felt like he was some rapist for the one situation, but that's why you ask the question, because it takes people to different places. When describing him, I just look at him as a genius on the court. I look at him as an individual that overcame some things, and I look at where he was in his life when he unfortunately passed away with his daughters and with his giving back. Man, that's how I look.
What could have been?
Do you know what? Do you know what he was starting the Monday following his tragic death? He had a court case, a 10-figure court case with a pharmaceutical company.
Uh-oh. Yep,
And if you go into aviation experts, there is absolutely zero reason that helicopter should have been where it was.
But you know what?
You have to explain that one.
We're not a conspiracy.
He was okay. Go ahead.
We're not a conspiracy.
I love conspiracies.
You didn't let me finish. We're not a conspiracy show, but Anson ain't telling no lies.
That's correct.
All right, what we got next?
Wait. What happened with that?
He had basically $1 trillion or $1 billion, multi-billion-dollar lawsuit with a pharmaceutical company.
Against?
Yes.
And then he was potentially it's just like any other thing. It's like the old school stuff. When somebody's gonna testify, somebody's on the right side. What happened? They come up missing.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like the old school.
Yeah.
Suicide.
It is old school.
I still read about 9/11 and half.
You're not about to get us in trouble.
All right,
here we go. All right,
don't get me started.
Building number 7.
Yeah, building number 7.
All right, here's another moment from a guy you don't like. This is a guy you don't like. It is LeBron James. He beat his boy. So side note, I was watching Carmelo's podcast.
I'm not even paying attention at this point.
Carmelo's podcast. You will like this because it validates your point more. Carmelo's podcast is super dope. It's a cool show. Shout out to him. I know the executive producer because he is my cousin. But with that being said, he was talking about when the Knicks were coming up and they had Shump and they had J.R. Smith and they were starting to make moves. They were starting to go on this little thing. Don't you know LeBron and the commissioner, they took the players off of Carmelo's team and gave them to LeBron. J.R. Smith as well as Shump, who were hot commodities at that time. Not only did they just take the players, they took them and put them on LeBron's team. Like this.
You mean right after they won the draft lottery 3 out of 4 years?
Speaking of conspiracy. But, sometimes he does put on the show 37 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, and he hit the game-winning shot in the Garden.
Who cares? Who did he beat? He beat the crappy Knicks. Who gives a damn?
Put the next one up there.
He's such a
Put the double nickel up there. Put the double nickel up there.
The double nickel?
Put the double nickel up there.
You got it, my friend.
Everybody knows what the double nickel is.
You got it.
Here we go. 1995. This is MJ, the return to MSG. If you don't remember his first game, it was against the Indiana Pacers. Remember Reggie Miller and him getting to it right around the scorers table, if you will? Well, he switched it up, got the 55 with the 45 on, March 28th, 1995. Jordan was just unbelievable. That was his favorite place to play, Mavs.
Oh yeah, he picked a great city. I mean, Chicago, he lucked out, but I bet you he would have loved to play in New York. And who knows what the hell he could have done in that city. I know the Knicks would have won a few championships. That's all I know.
Ricky, speak on the greatness of Michael Jordan, man. What were you doing in 1995?
Well, I was March. I was 5 years old.
There you go.
So my dad was probably holding me, yelling, and watching this game the entire time. Cause those are my first basketball memories of my dad yelling for like the bad boys and all that stuff.
So you only got about 8 years. Mike.
Yeah, like I vividly remember Mike coming back and playing for the Wizards. Like that's about.
Is that Starks and Mike? Is that Starks and Anthony Mason?
It is. It is.
I think so.
Did you see Starks last night too? He was in the audience.
I see him all the time. I didn't like Starks as a player.
I love him.
When I see him,
I love him.
Yeah, he did nothing for me. He did nothing for me. Let's do the Vince Carter one, and then we'll switch it.
You got
and then we'll get to some baseball because Doc's coming. I do want to talk about
this list. It's like reading like
There you go,
smallpox, bubonic plague, all these things that have just killed so many peasants.
I'm not gonna lie, that one was pretty good. I'm not
Show Maz. Show Maz in the robo chair.
Hang on. I was doing that first. Hang on.
Anson,
when you live with rats.
oh my God, you guys are hilarious. Vince Carter was my favorite player after Michael Jordan retired. Air Canada, he was the guy. What was the stats on that one?
Go, buddy.
I still remember the Eastern Conference Series finals with he and AI that went 7. Obviously, AI will win and go on to play the Lakers. But 46 points, Vince Carter, man, VC, the most amazing player I've ever seen. 46 playoff points against the Knicks, signature high-five dunks, blah, blah, blah.
We call this one the Spanish flu.
You can go on and on and on and on and on. There's a ton of moments. All right, put a pin in that. We'll save the rest for later.
Is he Spreewell in that one?
100%. At least, hey, speaking of choking.
Yeah. Thank you. I was going there if you didn't.
I beat you to it.
I love you, Bray.
Leave CJ alone. I'll never forgive him for that.
PJ Carlissimo.
No, I'll never forgive
They said it's
what
not
he
the
did
first
to
time.
PJ.
They said it's not the first time that he put hands on PJ too.
Oh,
Alvin Robertson style.
Let's put a pin in it, man. These Detroit Tigers. What can you say about them? It is a what do you call it? A dugout game? Not a dugout game.
Bullpen game.
Bullpen game.
Pitching
New
chaos.
bullpen game.
Six pitchers. Six pitchers. Brent Herter, 3 scoreless innings to start. Chase Lee earning his first win as a starter. 15 of the last 20 the Tigers have now won. And they beat a team that's red hot, man. You keep talking about these Cardinals. They beat them 5-1. They cooled their bats off. Doesn't matter who's on the mound. They seem to just find a way.
They won 12 of 16 series this year.
Crazy.
So
12
beautiful.
of 16 series. The first series, obviously, against the Dodgers.
Whoa.
They could have won that one, guys. So you know it. I mean, you can go back and watch those games. They could have easily taken 2 of those games, especially the opener. I mean, they crapped out against the Rangers. They won 1-0, 2-1, and then they got slaughtered those last 2 games, and then a couple of other series as well. But this team is really playing together at the right time, and it's great that they're getting this start. I mean, this start is phenomenal. 33-17, 5 games better than the Twins. They get Cleveland now this weekend. Cleveland's always been a pain in the neck.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes. It's a wraparound series. Starts tonight. No days off, man. This team's playing 12 straight games in a row. And then the Giants come in after this. So I hope they can get the best of Cleveland. It starts tonight. Jack Flaherty, see if he can get his third win. Second in a row now.
Yep.
It would be pitched pretty well the last game. I'd like to see him strike out 8 to 10 tonight and go 6 solid innings. And give the bullpen a rest tonight. I hope the Tigers the best for them, and they've been a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had something.
No.
I was waiting for Anson jump in.
I'm just thinking about different population reducing diseases.
Oh my God!
Oh, would you stop? Anyway, I have a comment on the Tigers,
we
man.
feel right for that. Pete, switch the energy up.
You got it, Mom, because I'm so excited like Maz is with the Tigers. And if you guys remember out there in the chat, remember last week we were talking about what's going to happen at the trade deadline. What do they need? I'm going to say it again. The middle relief is what they're going to have to load up on. And you good Tiger fans out there know that stuff. And you saw how important it is for pitchers to go 3 innings here and there. there and to take work out, take work away from the starters for a good reason, to rest everybody up. It's a beautiful way that A.J. Hinch plays chess with these players and how he manages his players, manages the pitching staff. It's a work of art, actually. This is how to manage baseball. This is Manager Baseball 101. It's a beautiful way. The Tigers right now are perfect the way they are, but they're going to have to make those moves at the trade deadline, bring in the middle relief.
Perfect conversation. Moves at the deadline. Did everybody see the proposed trade yesterday that kind of shook up the airwaves?
Thank
you.
Why haven't we talked about
I'm
that?
down.
Paul Skeens?
I am down.
Paul Skeens to the Tigers?
Why not? Why not?
We don't need him.
Maz, let me ask you this question.
I want Scooble.
No.
But you have Scooble.
I don't want to give up my young guys. I got Scooble. I don't need
Baltimore. Let me ask this question, because this has been the consensus.
Crazy.
This has been the consensus. There's those on the side of Paul Skeens, there's like, you see who he is. And then there's those, I don't want to give up young guys. And, the potential, you got a guy that you're not going to have to pay for 5 years is cooking with grease. Like, you got him and Scooble. You got to give up Jackson Joe, who may or may not be something. You got to give up Max Clark, who may or may not be something. Paul Skeens is a bona fide stud. Numbers this year a little bit less than last year, but still on a different trajectory. I'm in the side, you guys, it's Ryan's fault. Everything is about now. But it's not just about now, because Paul Skeens is going to give you 4 more years. You don't have to pay him.
Exactly.
So you can pay Scooble
100.
and have Skeens.
100%.
What?
What?
Give me Paul Skeens.
If they get Skeens, you could trade Scooble and get a haul for him. But, I'm not going there. I mean, that's a pipe dream, man.
No, it's
that's
not.
A pipe dream.
I'm going to tell you
why. It wasn't proposed by me, so I
know.
didn't answer.
I know.
Where are you on?
I tell you why it's not a pipe dream. Because the Tigers' minor league affiliates are in first place. Let's not be the Baltimore Orioles. We have so much talent. Max Clark is going to be a great player. He's going to steal a lot of bases. That's wonderful. But let's ship him over to Pittsburgh and let's let Pittsburgh deal with it, because we aren't gambling anymore. Now it is time to put all the chips in the table and let's bring in the arm of arms, baby. I'll do Paul Skeens. Let's pause. I'll bring in Paul Skeens any day.
The arm of arms already plays in Detroit. He would be second arm of arms.
Second arm of arms.
But with that being said, my ex-girlfriend used to watch this show. My ex-girlfriend from a couple years ago.
Red?
My ex-girlfriend from a couple years ago used to watch this show. Hoarders. I never understood it.
Oh, man.
I never understood what people hoard. And I understand there's some mental things attached to the hoarding, but I just didn't understand the initial aspect. Like, why continue to hold on to things that you may not necessarily need if you're going to give me this one thing? And I already know that this one thing was great last year and is damn good this year, but I'm going to hold on to it because of the potential. Ladies and gentlemen, in Detroit, we have to stop worrying about potential, because that's what our whole career as fans has been tied into. The potential of this player, the potential of that, because our team suck. So when your team suck, all you hold on to is potential, because it's hope, it's optimism. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't gotta hope no more. Your team is good. So now you add different pieces to it. I'm all for it. And I know maybe just some, just Michigan guys, but sign me up.
That's right.
Just remember, way back in the day, not too far back in the day, they traded a young guy by the name of, who does those games with Joe Davis, those national games with Joe Davis on Fox?
I know you're talking about.
Who's that?
John Smoltz.
John Smoltz.
Doyle Alexander.
Doyle Alexander was good. He got you in the playoffs that year.
Oh, that's great. We lost.
Series.
Lost.
And then they got a guy named Austin Meadows from the Tampa Bay Rays for a kid named Isaac Paredes. And Isaac Paredes has become a very, very good player. He can play 3 positions. Would have been nice that he kept here. They traded for David Price.
Yep.
David Price. And they gave up
a
pretty good haul.
That's right.
For that one.
Cameron Maben.
Cameron Maben was a great trade for Miggy. That one they won. They won the Miggy trade. Those other trades, they didn't win.
Here's the equalizer, in my opinion, for that conversation. Those other trades didn't have the bevy of knowing that Chris Federer is going to be the coach of Paul Skeens.
Right.
So whatever the hell Paul Skeens is going through that's taking him from being great to very good, he's coming to the best assistant coach and pitching coach in baseball.
That's right.
Amen.
So if he was that last year with the bum in Pittsburgh, sorry, I don't know, y'all, I'm just having fun on the show. then what is he going to be with this guy? So that's how I look at it. He's only going to get better.
Bryce Rayner is a better shortstop than Max Clark. Sleep on that. We have so many pieces in our farm system that you can give up 3-4 of them, and there's a whole wave of guys that are kind of just as good.
Thank you.
And like just through my dynasty baseball, we've made hay on finding these guys, moving them for veterans over and over and over and over again, and we lose about 20% of the time. I mean, some of the names, the Marco Lucianos that we've gotten rid of that still aren't even up. I mean, it's Gavin Lux's. There's so many guys that were just so coveted by other teams that are desperate to get where the Tigers are right now. You get a chance to get Paul Skeens, you go and get him.
Make it.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Make it.
I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the hitting of the Detroit Tigers, at least two players. Riley Green, we keep talking about him, consistently finding the ball right now. After how he started the season, you got to love that for Riley Green. Javi Baez, he had a hit yesterday too, so he's furthering getting out of the slump. And then Torque, Spencer Torkelson, he was one of the biggest questions over the last 2 years. Torque, what a hell of a turnaround. In that game yesterday, it was very reminiscent, Maz, of the Dodgers series. What do we notice about him in the Dodgers? His eye has been on. He was locked in. How many walks did he take? 2 walks yesterday. How many RBIs? 2 RBIs yesterday. So shout out to Spencer Torkelson, man. He just continues to prove that it wasn't a beginning of the season thing and it wasn't a flash in the pans 2 years ago when he hit 30 home runs. He is proving that he was worth the pick.
No doubt.
Take a quick commercial break. We got Dr. Pierce coming in a second, so we'll get some messages in. We'll talk about the best pizza in the state.
It truly is. Listen, Buddy's Pizza's been serving that original Detroit-style deep dish since 1946 at their original 6 Mile and Conant location, which still stands today. They've got 21 other locations throughout Michigan, so sign up for Buddy's Reward to start earning points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions, all kinds of good stuff. Download that app today, and you can start earning today. And on top of that, you can save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10meal. That's hashtag 10meal. So head on over to buddyspizza.com.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media, X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Well, everybody, you know what's going on here. We are the number one, the numero uno sports digital media platform around this entire big blue marble that we are spinning upon. And you have 6 ways to catch our programming 7 days a week. You can watch us on YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. Come like, share, join, subscribe. Come be a part of our family because we love you guys.
Of a new home and feeling in a financial pinch? Well, Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's $5,000 that you get to keep in your pocket. That's right. You can go see a New York Knicks game with that $5,000 if you'd like.
Yeah, he'll see
right,
the
Anson?
Raptors.
Give him a call today. Mark White & Associates, 248-290-8242. Visit him online as well, markwhitesells.com. Again, that number, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Yeah, $5,000, you definitely will be sitting across the street. Those tickets were absolutely bananas.
You might be able to get in the lower bowl for $5,000.
The most expensive game in history.
Like yes, it was like $120,000 for like courtside.
You see how high they had the NBA, the inside the NBA guys?
100%.
They had them up in blue heaven. We used to call that blue heaven. We had blue seats back then. You know, if you sat in the blue seats, you were going to get a nosebleed. You think you're high in Little Caesars Arena. Try going to Madison Square Garden and sitting up there in the promenade section, as they call it. That's many escalators up at Penn Station.
Seems like Doc is taking his sweet time. I can see him over here. Come on, Doc. What's the play?
I'll do one more. We need one more break app before that.
Oh, you want to do it like that? All right, cool. Then we'll do it like that. Let's get a message in from Les Stanford.
All right.
And Les Stanford, they've got just an absolutely tremendous inventory, and they got awesome offers for everybody right now at Les Stanford Buick and GMC, including the 2025 Envision Preferred all-wheel drive that you see there just for $259 a month, as well as the 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation for a sweet deal at only $169. And for all those ballers out there, that 25 Hummer EV SUV for $699 a month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
The boys of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us Friday, May 23rd from 5 to 7 with the heavyweights at McShane's in Detroit for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw, Easttown, and Van Johnson.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Well, everybody, You know what's going to happen now. I'm going to tell you to scan that QR code above my head. Use that code word over there, Woodward 1000, to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. When you do and make your first deposit, make your first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, you get your first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000. But only if you scan that QR code above my head. Use that code word over there, Woodward 1000, to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. It is time for the
Welcome back in, as you see on the backboard. It is Thursday, so you know who's here. It's Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine, our injury insider. Doc, we were complaining about the weather. The weather's horrible. I think the weather is messing up people getting on the boat, starting boating season. I know movement is this weekend. 61 is the high. A lot of people aren't too excited about that. But concerts indoors, they're still going. Last week you went to Jelly Roll and Post Malone. Today you'll be going to Shakira, as you said, maybe something else. Just talk about the concert season, man. Has it been a big, crowd basis at these concerts right now?
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean it starts the season. I mean it's nice. My day went from 3 meetings to dealing with some issues with the weekend that's at Ford Field and Shakira's people. I mean people don't realize like Shakira's group right now is going back to back to back. I mean, they just flew in from Montreal. They're doing Detroit. They're doing Chicago tomorrow. They're doing Toronto in a couple days. These guys are warriors. I mean, it's not like 3 hours in during the concert. Like, you're talking about prep. You're talking about building stadiums. You're building stages. There's a lot of people involved. Like, we love Shakira, to talk about Shakira. I mean, beautiful, talented woman. She's out there for her 3 hours, you think, or 2 hours, but there's so much prep going on. There's so many people involved. I've been fortunate to be doing this since 2000 and seeing all the workings, and I'm still always amazed. Like I'm looking to take off from here just to go to Ford Field to see the structure of Weekend's stage being built, which I think that's really cool.
This stage is always crazy too.
They erect the whole thing. So
yeah, I would ask for tickets, but I actually got tickets for that one. What's the crazy with Shakira? I've never known it. Like this is my opinion once again.
That Latin energy, buddy.
You said what?
That Latin energy.
She like fake. Okay, I say my opinions. All right.
You're not a Shakira fan?
No, she's overrated.
Interesting.
I won't.
What a woman. What a woman.
She's big in the Latin community. I understand what he's saying.
I used to live in Miami. I'm not an idiot.
Got you. Yeah,
I understand the reach. I'm not a fool, but
got you.
Just as a music lover, as a music fan, I think she's a little bit slightly overrated.
Got you. That's fair then.
Yeah,
are you talking about purity of her voice?
It's okay.
She's got great. You gotta give her. She's got great stage presence.
She's Latin.
She's
Latin. Well. Now that goes back to what you said. She gets that 100%.
Well, Beyonce's wonderful, and she's got unbelievable stage presence. Okay, she's all right.
She's
what do you
okay
want to talk
too.
about now?
I don't know. Nobody gave me a script, so I'm up here winging it right now. Doc, you see, we can talk about the age-old thing we always talk about, because he did come out in press conference. He said he's fully clear. He has been fully clear. I said something about Aiden to the effect today. You see that excitement, you see that energy. I know what it means to be fully clear. Like, I know what it means that once you can get back around the group, once you feel part of the group. Talk about this from the standpoint of the mental space now, because we talk so much about the physical. Talk about his mental space now being able to get back right for the season.
It's funny you want to bring that up, because it's such a big component that he's got both sides, right? So the mental thing is, I'm cleared, I'm ready to be back with my boys full time. And he's been integrated there, but he's been a standoff. Now he's got that positive, that great energy that I'm there, I'm competing with him, I'm full boat. But it's also the concern is, am I going to re-injure? Am I going to be hit? I've been in a very controlled environment. Now this environment becomes a little less controlled and cautious, right? Is he going to wear a jersey that's hit him at 50%, don't take him out. I think that's where he starts. But it's just, like I said, it's the process of getting back to full boat. And there's a mental component that he has to overcome. Is he going to be short memory? Like a lot of good athletes have a very short memory, which is good because they don't have what we talk about, that mental scarring. When that mental scarring starts settling in, that's a problem. Hopefully with Aiden, everything keeps going positive. He's had, I want to say, 90% positives in his recovery, and that leads to a lot. It's not like even Manning, who had the infection in his neck. That's sad in the back of his head. Is like, what's going to happen next? What's the next shoe to drop? Yeah. What's the next issue? Aiden's had a pretty good uphill climb with no real setbacks. So his mental scarring isn't hopefully going to play a role. I think, like I always play, glass half full. I think he's going to love it. I think the mental is going to come right in. It's just going to start. His piece is, like, if you look at this from an analysis of, from a medical standpoint, his recovery, I think I'm giving them a 90 plus on doing everything proper, meaning the firing patterns, meaning the recovery, how they did it. Like we talked about with the non-weight bearing to the pool, the steps have been pretty close to what we've anticipated. So I anticipate it here from the mental also.
Doc, Hutch is a positive guy. He's got a very positive mindset and approach to life, it seems like. Braylon and I, we were talking early on in the episode today about the loss of camaraderie, not just being there, being able to be on the field and do your craft, but not being around the guys, not being in the film room and things like that, just the disconnect because you're rehabbing or prehabbing. My question is beyond what you guys offer on a physical level, how many of these guys are put into psychological programs to help them with what you were just talking about?
Well, that's like the secret sauce. We can't really talk about that.
I figured as much.
No, look, you have... I've been around long enough. We've been through the roids, the different personalities. These are football players. They're there to be aggressive, right? So I don't know if you're talking about the aggressive nature or just how do I get back. It's just like taking a vacation. He wasn't totally disconnected. There's not like a slice in the pie that he wasn't a part of. He was always a part of it. He was always welcome. He was just focused elsewhere on what he was doing. I think for him, I don't think there's a major transition. He's got, like you mentioned, he's got a very positive personality. My physician assistant, Rogine, actually was with him during his early years, and he was always positive. You look at, we make fun of his ballet and his dance background, which gave him a cross-training position, but I'm not worried about Hutch integrating back in. Everybody wants him back. He's not an outsider. He's not a guy with psychological issues. He's a positive energy. He enters that room, and there's an energy. And it's not just in the locker room. You can see him, doing stuff for charities when he enters a room anywhere, when he enters the Little Caesars for a Piston game. He brings a positive aura with him. He's just one of those guys that has, the energy, the right energies.
Parker Meadows. Last year he played really well in the outfield for the Detroit Tigers, man. Center field, he actually was one of the best in the center field this year. They have Javi Baez. It seems like he's found his niche.
He's woken up.
A little bit. Seems like he's woken up.
You can't be RIP on him, huh?
What? Javier Baez, man. You can't put the RIP on him. But Parker Meadows is coming back. What do you expect out of him and his arm injury? Seems like he's starting to get some innings down in AAA.
Again, I think the training staff, the medical team is doing it right. We have extra days for him. We want to bring him back healthy. I think he's going to come in at that, zero pain, 80-90% improvement, and then just work through that last conditioning of being back on the field. I think, will he miss a step? Maybe at the beginning for a couple games, but I think once he gets his rhythm and his mental and physical connect, that, hey, I'm okay, it's working, I'm not going to have a setback. You're always, like I've always said, and we've talked about it a lot, you need that couple days. You need that first hit. You need a first, collision. You need something to happen that I'm living through it. I'm okay. I'm not swelling. I'm not achy. I'm going to go to the trainer. I'm going to be proactive. I think Meadows is a smart player and is hungry to keep up with these Tigers. That's, they're putting pressure on everybody to return. These guys that are stepping up are stepping up.
Fair enough. You said it was a little quiet in here. Let's wake it up. Last night, one of the greatest playoff games I've ever seen in terms of the excitement.
Wait a minute. You're talking about my son's lacrosse game?
There it is. Tell me about that. Break it down. This was the last one of the season, correct?
All right, so I got to be a proud dad for a moment.
Come on, talk about it.
I think I talked a little on Tuesday, but my son, senior at lacrosse Cranbrook, he won senior award. He won MVP. He won, a lot of things as a senior.
Congrats,
spoke very highly. Very proud of my son. Spoke. We can actually play the 5-minute video one day when everybody wants to listen. But very proud moment for all dads and parents out there. You come to like your dad has so many proud moments of you. It was one of my proud moments for my son. They ended up playing St. Mary's yesterday. They were down 3-2 after the first half, and my son scores the first 2 goals in the first 5 minutes of the third. So he actually had a Gordie Howe yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
He had a hat trick, he had a penalty, and a fight. So it was
don't gloss over the fight. Wait a minute.
Yeah, he just ran right over that.
Tried to gloss over that one. Let's speed bump this one. What happened there?
So, if people that know lacrosse, not to get into lacrosse, and we'll talk about it, the Knicks later. But when you have an unskillful team, their coach, someone will tell the player, annoy him. So what they do is they take the butt of their stick and just keeps jamming it into their ribs, into their gut. And this kid was doing it, and Alec he schooled him twice, and he's scoring on him, and then he came at him. And then Alex is like, this is and he just tackled him, and then he said choice words, which I can't repeat. And then he goes, go ahead. So Alec got the penalty for tackling him, and then he came back and retaliated, hit him in the head. They're wearing they got full garment on, full mask. So they both got tossed for a couple minutes. But
shout out, proud moment in that fight. Your son out there scrapping with the best.
But then he came up and he did one of those things like his team was like kind of quiet as he hurt, and he comes up cheering and getting everybody riled up like let's go, and then that changed the whole dimension of the game, and they ended up winning. So they're in the finals.
All right.
For their region.
So any plans to celebrate this weekend? I know you said you're going to the weekend concert, but look, there are a lot of weekend warriors out there that are going to brave this cold weather and either go to Tigers games or get on the water, get on the barbecue pit. What about you, man? Are we celebrating? Am I coming over to your house? Are you barbecuing Sunday?
You're always welcome to
you
my
say
house.
that, but I don't get these invites.
No. It's open invitation.
He's been talking about a barbecue to fight all show.
Hey, man, it's barbecue. What are you guys doing this weekend, man? And how about the weekend warriors out there braving the jet skis?
You got to be careful in the cold. Like we talked about, our seasons are starting. The golf seasons are starting. The softball seasons are starting. Flag football is becoming a thing too. You have to do your proper warm-up. You got to respect your body, especially those guys 30 plus. You're 20-year-olds, you can probably still steal it. If you're over the 40 age, you got to be real careful. Get there early, get the warm-up, wear proper equipment, proper gear, stay warm. If you're going on the water, you're going to freeze your butt off this weekend. Ooh. So, the beers and the liquor aren't your source of warmth for this weekend.
That was always a crazy concept. It's like, we just drink and warm ourselves up, and typically it does work, man. The weekend.
So the Knicks game.
That's what I was going to ask about. The excitement level was there. The shot, the halftime, the choking signal, as we clearly have here. What were your thoughts when you watched the game? Just your thoughts.
I actually only watched the last 5 minutes.
That's all you had to watch.
And I was like, oh my gosh. Like it was a flashback. I was there when Reggie Miller did the original choke.
Whoa.
Not there. I was watching it on TV.
Okay, I was going to say.
Like, whoa, leave with
I am that old. I could have been, but.
Jeez Louise.
But then, no, I mean, God, it just goes to show you what they say. 0 out of 1,441 games. You never give up. You talked about Post Malone. You talked about Jelly Roll. It's about not giving up, right? Their big song right now is Losers. It's like they're trying to inspire everybody. I don't know if I want to start this conversation, but
go ahead.
I don't want to dismiss the people that are working their butts off, trying to stay healthy, living clean, all that. I don't want them not to be celebrated or respected. I don't want it to be given, but I also trying to flip to Post Malone, Jelly Roll, the not to give up fight you're talking about two greatly different things between Indiana not giving up versus Jelly Roll, who did spend time, serving time, coming out, in his statement, which a lot of people heard, we're two losers up here that sold out Ford Field. What's the message? Is it to inspire? Is it to put it in the face? Is it to make, I'd like to hear what the chat wants to say about that. What is that message? For Indiana, yeah, they put it to New York. New York has an arrogance that the rest of the country really doesn't care for. I bet you more people were cheering on Indiana to win that game and not feeling sorry for New York. And it's that
You got
arrogance.
that right, Doc.
Huh?
You got that right, Doc.
That's not my medical opinion, but it does lead to a medical opinion.
Yeah, like Anson hates New York fans, like on all levels, but he doesn't understand that like there's some that he hates, and the most of them are people that he would love. Like I didn't play for the New York Giants, I played for the New York Jets, and those fans are some of the best that you'll ever see. So there's a lot of people in New York, Anson.
Oh, I know. I spent a lot of time in New York. My ex went to Parsons. I was there for basically 2 years, and it's a great city. But their fan base is delusional.
Which fan base, though?
Basically, a whole bunch, millions of people that need 9 teams to win as many championships per team.
But they don't even like all their teams, though. Like the people, they
hate each other within the
exactly.
city.
Sure,
it's like beef within the city.
Listen. Yankees fans, they get a free pass, even though there's Yankee fans from all over the world that don't.
They're the worst.
Yes, but actual New York Yankees fans from New York's, they get a pass.
I'm just messing
but
with you, man.
the Knicks fans, man, I mean, literally the majority of them have never been alive to ever taste meat. They are peasants. So I am going to remind them, especially when they want to call Pistons fans peasants. 3 straight decades with a championship, Knicks fans. And they are nervous Knicks right now, that's for sure. The plague. That's what happens when you live with rats.
What you can say about New Yorkers is that you don't have to question what they're thinking. You know how they're feeling. As opposed to the Midwest, they'll say what they think you want to hear, and will say something different behind your back. That's the only positive I will give the New Yorkers. You know where you know if they like you or not. You know where you stand. You know you're gonna get it. But there could be a nicer delivery. But
sounds like down south politics.
You gotta be politically correct.
Honestly, they say that New Yorkers are so mean and this and that. They were helpful and nice. I always had a great time in New York. But listen, I've told you guys all. I mean, I like teams in the NFL. I dislike some teams in the NFL. I hate 29 teams in the NBA. Period. All right. I'm rooting for Halliburton this week, but I hate 29 teams. And if they beat my Pistons, especially the way the Knicks got by the Pistons, they're not getting any love.
All right, look, there's 2 games tonight. There's a baseball game and baseball. I'm tired. The Tigers play tomorrow.
J-Dub's playing.
That's what I was going to go to. I was going to ask you. Give me your prediction tonight.
Prediction?
OKC.
I think that this one's going to be very, very close. And I think that this could be a game that your Minnesota Timberwolves win to get back into this series. But again, they're an avalanche. OKC, once they get tripped and start, that thing is all over you and you are buried. That defense from Minnesota has to be stellar tonight, but I don't think that they get it done. I think the OKC goes up 2-0.
OKC up 1-0. Timberwolves tonight. Who you got?
I think OKC is starting to realize we got to stay locked in the whole game and take care of business. Minnesota, they come down to 1 or 2 players. You shut them down. They have a swarming defense. So, okay, if they can lock in, which I think they will tonight, to get themselves going, like this Game 6 and all that, I'm comfortable with OKC tonight.
All right.
I'd even say by 12.
You did not. Do we even have anything on the wheel to spin?
We're going to push it to tomorrow, guys. I wanted to let you guys know we didn't do great on it today. I already have a massive, massive prize pack for the finale Friday that I do every time. So what we're going to do, I'm making the executive call. Everybody that has a super chat in today, I'm going to double your spots on tomorrow's wheel.
There you go.
Okay?
That works.
And then everybody else tomorrow, get in on it. We're going to have extra love here. I've got a 1989 sealed Fleer baseball pack courtesy of Scarelli that could have a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie in it worth $600. And I'm sure that Braylon and MVP will bring some things to add in as well.
I'll find something to bring in. Anson, get us out of here, buddy.
Hey, movement is this weekend, but we will be back tomorrow. Stick around for the heavyweights, Woodward Sports. And on behalf of the doc, we all appreciate you guys so much. Have a great afternoon.